the not only video podcast centered entirely around items that you get to view on the screen. With us, as always, we've got the Geek Scorpio. We've also got joining us today,
Hello.
Pixel Wheezy.
Hello.
Myself, Tomato Man 7, and Zombie Hand.
Last but not least.
Absolutely. And we are going to spin the wheel to determine what our topic is going to be for the day. If it lands on spin again, we've got video game IPs in other media. If it lands on the PS1, games we regret playing. If it lands on the Dreamcast, our favorite spin-off games. If it lands on the PlayStation 2, pros and cons of crowdfunded games. If it lands on the GameCube, our favorite video game soundtracks. And if it lands on Xbox, game releases overshadowed by other games. Let's spin the wheel.
Woo! Oh.
PS1, games we regret playing.
Oh, I've got a doozy of that one.
I love that some
I have
people know
to
what
think
they're
about
gonna
it. I have to really think about it, because I don't think I regret any of the games that I've played. I just don't like certain games that I've played. But I want to hear you guys first, and I'll see if I come up with anything.
That's fair.
Okay, how do I turn that part off? There we go. Okay, so I know what I'm going to discuss myself, but I'm going to hold back because I want to see what everyone else is going to bring up on this one. So let's start with... Oh, why not? Let's start with Leo, since he's at the top of the list here.
I'm at the top of the list.
Rude.
So, for my little venture of games I've regretted playing, I'll have to give you one of these moves. Spore.
Oh, God.
From Maxis. So,
I'm all into the liar.
the reason why I can say officially that I regret playing this game is not only did I dislike every aspect of the game playing through it, and unlike most of this is one of the few games I've ever hate played, tried to beat the whole thing because I never want to see it in my life again.
Oh, God.
So I got through the majority of the entire game, even the space section, and then got bored and like, I'm out. I don't want to do anything more to this game. And if you're wondering if that stopped there, no. While in college, taking a college course, I had to write a paper on advertisements that I felt betrayed me. And Spore was the top of my list. Got me an A+ paper on that whole discussion of that. And mostly it's because Spore going into it kind of tried to do a lot of things not well. Like the funnest part of the game is the character creator that Tomato Man put up. The thing is that is like 1/10 of the entire game. And essentially, it was one of those ideas of trying to make a game that would appeal to so many different genres, and instead of focusing on one, screwed up by trying to do so much, right? So much so that like
That's not fair. That one.
When they decided to sequelize the game somewhat or get a DLC, the only thing that they could think of was the character creator. The fun part of the game. Let's just make another one of those.
I love that fish thing, and I want to adopt one.
The thing that has a satellite like extra from a shoot 'em up.
Yeah, that's the one.
The one that you posted right there.
Yeah, the thing that looks like it belongs in a weird side-scrolling shoot 'em up game, and that's its
Like
extra.
Darius, like G Darius, or one of those other.
Yes, thank you. Or it just literally left my head. I'm gonna go with UN Squadrons.
UN Squadron.
The blue fish thing that you posted, the thing next to it just looks like something out of Tremors, and I don't like it.
Oh God, you're right. That is just a graboid mouth.
I think it's called. When I see it, all I see is like an Ichthyosaurus, but then with the side out. But anyway, yeah. So like the idea behind Spore was that you would evolve your game as the game would go up. And now the thing is, the first portion of it is you're a little amoeba trying to get bigger and stronger, and you look like weird doing that. And once you go into that little amoeba, you'd move on to being on land, and that's when you got to hit the creature creator. As after that, you also had to do a weird civilization thing, and it was either conquer the world by military means or conquer the world by not military means, but still conquering them somehow. So in one go, it tried to be Pokemon, tried to be Civilization, tried to be what is that name of that game? Left Sky.
Oh,
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. And then like 2 other
Oh,
genres.
this was before
like,
No Man's Sky, right?
Yeah,
this was pre No Man's Sky, but they did about the same.
Before. Yeah.
But there was like not much to any of these sections except for the creature creator, and you only got to see that during that one time when you're moving from sea to land, and that's it. And that's not even, and that's like a tenth of the actions that the things that you got to do in the game. Like when you got to do the planetary conquest part, you built a car to go wherever you wanted to conquest, and that's about it. And I made a monstrosity that looked like it came straight from Dr. Seuss. And
then was it really a monstrosity?
I don't know. It could. So it was weird because when I did it, like somehow it could fire missiles and blow a horn loudly.
Okay.
So I think I decided to conquer my planet at it the same way that you would use. I think they use that same tactics on Noriega.
So I feel like the people that actually made this were kind of trying to make it an extraterrestrial version of a game called Evo, The Search for Eden, on the Super Nintendo.
I own that. That thing is amazing, and it's simpler, but it's more straightforward.
Yeah.
Evo, you did that throughout the entirety of the game.
Yeah, you were like slowly changing as you went, but choosing how you changed as you went, and it worked. But this game didn't really work.
I think the problem with Spore was that a lot of people tended, like as Leo was saying earlier, it was like it was just a mash of like too much shit.
Mm-hmm.
It was too much stuff to do. Like they were
overstretched
doing
for sure.
Right, and they were putting too much things into the game, and like when you do that, you tend to have too much of a problem. You have people that are like, this is only going to appeal to one audience, and that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you're going to only get a few people that like it, and then you're going to get the people that only wanted to create the things. And I think that's why they did that creature creator.
Yeah,
it's only appealing to one audience. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just like what you were talking about with Pokemon, right? It goes to go and create. It goes to focus on things that are that keep the attention of an average viewer base or an average player base. So you're going to look at the people that are going to have more of a how should I say? It's like way to grab the attention of a regular viewer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the Wii Sports effect,
Exactly.
It's like,
how can I quickly grab? Right. How can I quickly capture the audience of my player base? Well,
exactly.
Give them literally whatever they can make. Well, let's make a giant penis. Well, they did that. You can do that.
You can do that on the GameCube too. It's called Amazing Island.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, like, that was the weirdest thing when you got to the civilization thing. There was nothing more than, could you attack the enemy, or did you blow your horn, which is potentially attacking the enemy? Yeah, I had to look it up. I was sitting there going, Noriega was the dude, right? Yeah, Noriega, the drug lord, surrendered to the military because they wouldn't stop playing Guns N' Roses music over a bunch of loudspeakers for like hours and hours a day.
I would surrender too.
It's actually a military tactic. They have gigantic directional speakers on like attached to Humvees that they will drive out and just like try and bombard them with noise to make them go away. It's a real thing. It is terrifying that it's a thing.
I also just don't like Guns N' Roses.
Or that. It's like a Bluetooth speaker is now a grenade.
Reminds me of that once. Where's that one scene? Reminds me of that one scene from the Incredible Hulk movie with fucking what's his name?
Ed Norton.
Ed Norton.
Yeah.
Edward Norton, and they did that like sound barrier attack to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Venom, guys. Come on.
Oh, you're gonna make him mad. But yeah, so that was my feelings with Spore. Spore tried to do 1,001 things, and rather than try to focus on one spot, try to do 1,001 things and miss the target every time for a bunch of times.
So
Yeah.
now I'm not trying to say like this isn't being attacked because it's a bad game. This is just a game you specifically regret playing.
Right. Like, I regret playing it because going into Spore, the idea behind it was I could do, like, the idea behind it, and this is the part that disappointed me on it, is that the things that you started with the character, so they don't, like, tell you this too well, and I have played EVO, and I was expecting something similar to that. So in EVO, a simple thing, the option that you have is that you can always backtrack or readjust if you need to. Like, it may be dumb to say, but the fact that if you start your game out as a herbivore, and you decided, but you didn't want to be a herbivore, you wanted to change up how you were running, you still could do that in almost any time of the game. And when you made those changes still could be into effect. So, and there were advantages to de-evolving yourself in that game, changing yourself up to do other things.
It's true.
But that was designed like an RPG / side scroller, where this was trying to give you the world of Civilization. And I'm a huge Civ fan. So once we go out from the creature creator to, okay, let's build a civilization, there was only 2 real options, and that disappointed the crud out of me because I could attack or attack, but now it's purple. It's sort of the best way to example it.
Yeah.
But so yeah, huge regret for purchasing it because I was on board, bought the thing from day one, pre-released, and or I reserved the game only to get this game that I basically beat with barely any effort, and I beat it within less than like a couple of hours because it wasn't that hard to figure out what you were doing.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing because Maxis that built this also did other things that I loved earlier, which had similar effects, but was done better. SimCity, The Sims, and various other things that they did like that. Apparently, this was the non-sim, and that did not fly very well.
Though the only thing I just realized, and for some reason this never occurred to me, it was made by EA. So things are actually starting to really put pieces together.
Yeah.
It all started early.
But yeah, so that was mine because these questions are what you personally did, and my personal disappointment is always Spore.
I can feel that.
Oh man. So, how about you, Mike? What do you got?
Well, what I got, and I kind of hope that nobody else kind of, I know a lot of people tend to not like spoilers, and spoiling for this game series in particular, I know a lot of people are very touchy about. So the game that I regret playing, and this is a game that I unfortunately played on stream and just was not happy with.
Oh,
and,
so this is already something that's publicly known.
Yes. But for me personally, like, I did not like whoa, file too big. Oops.
Oh,
that can't be good.
Let's just do this one. Last of Us Part 2.
Oh my god, thank you.
Oh
my
boy.
God.
So
Last of Us
Okay.
Part 2.
I can actually participate in this discussion now.
So
Okay.
I gotta come out and say, first off, I have a really weird relationship with this series. Because I think you were actually still in Newport. Yeah, you were still in Newport when the first one came out, because that was PS3.
Yep.
So I got it right when it came out. I was at the store first thing in the morning, got my copy at 7 a.m., went home, and played it, no joke, for 6 hours. Started playing at 7:30. However, they released a patch later for the first game at about 9:30 that corrected an issue where if you were connected to the PSN when you were playing it, it would get stuck in an autosave, and you could not manually save, and the autosave would not take. So I lost 6 hours of my life playing the beginning of this game, and after that happened, I decided that I would never touch it again because it's like I don't want to retread the first 6 hours. So I was just done with it at that point. I have played nothing more than that of the first game, and I have played nothing of the second game. That being said, I don't care about spoilers, and if anyone else cares about spoilers, Click off this video.
I love the first game. I love the first half of the second game.
But
I'll let you talk first, Mike, and then I'll put my 2 cents in.
All right. So yeah, first game, absolutely loved. Everything about it was so great. Like for me, like I personally was like, I never got a PS3 until like way late. Like I managed to get a PS3 from a friend, and I ended up getting Last of Us on a Black Friday sale. So for me, it was like one of those it's one of those games, you know, you can pick up like on a sale and you're like, oh, this is one of it's a really great game. You know, it's like got Game of the Year and all that kind of stuff. And it's like one of those backlog games. You go back like, wow, this game's freaking amazing. It was great. The storytelling was great. The combat was good. I never played Uncharted, but people said it was like just spoopy Uncharted, which
Uncharted is so good.
Yeah, I need to play that too. But
I have opinions about 3, but that's a different conversation.
Last of Us 1 had a really great storytelling, build up, and just overall suspense, and left off on a very, very, very good cliffhanger, which already made sense as to what was going to happen next. Like part 2 was inevitable. So now that Last of Us 2 came out, and after playing it, and after going and suffering through the length of the game, and just it took everything, like the storytelling for Last of Us Part 2 took everything that felt like that happened and what was leading up to from Last of Us Part 1, just shit it down the drain. Like, and this is a game that I personally regret and personally don't like, but not for the many of the reasons why I don't know. Maybe it's not for the reasons why people don't like this game. But there are a lot of reasons why people don't like this game. And the lists are being crunch time for developers,
supposed homophobia and transphobia.
Exactly.
I have opinions.
Yes,
I have thoughts.
Yes, thank you. That, and just the list goes on. Like, right, there's the political correctness of it, of what happened for it, and not only that, but for me personally, the reason why I don't like it, like all that stuff is bad. Don't get me wrong. The reason why I don't like it as a game is the storytelling and the gameplay and the way they force things on you and how it was really conceptualized and how it ended up being. It left me feeling empty when the last game made me feeling like I needed closure. And that's where I thought I was going to get this. And I got closure in a way I did not want. And in a way where it felt me feeling angry at the end. Angry not because of the storytelling, angry because of what the hell were they thinking. So, in this game, okay, they make you go and play like Ellie, which is the main character of the game, which was a second main character of a game from The Last of Us Part 1. And Ellie, you ended up like in Ellie's story, you ended up going like back and forth between this other character that they're introducing called Abby. And Abby, being an okay character by herself, ended up being something that they ended up doing where they forced a character that didn't seem like they had any purpose or any reason why they needed to have her in there. You know, they didn't really feel like they needed to have this character in, because it almost was like, so at the very end of Last of Us 1, Joel kills a doctor trying to save Ellie from the doctors because her body has a cure for the zombie infection that infected literally everybody on the planet. And how you kill this doctor in the first game at the very end literally has no purpose. You can actually not kill that doctor. It's just like something you're like, ha ha, shoot, bang, and they kill him. Like, you just be like, there's a dude there.
But yeah, you can just walk past him and you pick Ellie up and leave.
Yeah, you can literally pick him up. But in part 2, they're like, let's just make canon. They made it canon, right? And you know who happened to be that canon father? The doctor ended up being the father of Abby. Yeah. And so it was like, and it shoehorned a character that didn't even need to be there.
Right. That's
And
an
so-
issue I have too with a lot of games. It's like if you're gonna make an ending be multiple choice like that, don't make the worst ending the canon one.
Right. And that was the thing too, is so it's like, cool. Yeah, you Joel, which again, spoilers, Joel dies within the first like what, half hour of the game, not even 20 minutes.
I think like hour-ish in, just because you
Yeah.
got to navigate winter storms and
Right. So like a first
smoking
hour.
weed.
Yeah. And
Gotta navigate that.
Yeah, you got to
Mhm.
navigate through that really nice smoke. But they end up killing Joel, right? So they kill Joel, and Abby was the one that kills him, and in the most actually brutal way. It actually made me go, "Holy shit!" But they end up killing him, and like killing off Joel, fine, whatever. I love Joel as a character, right?
Yes.
Him dying, sad. Him getting killed and people being like, "Fuck this game!" Like, okay, why? It's a character, okay?
Like, settle down a little bit.
Let's settle down a little bit. It's fine if he dies, but the way he died and the reason why he died, I can understand being a little upset because it's by a character that got shoehorned and be like, "Oh yeah, this doctor had a child. Yeah, this child's pissed because her dad died, and now she wants revenge." Okay, so this is a revenge story. Well, yeah, kinda. Okay. Well, so they force the first half of the game on you by playing Ellie and also by playing Abby. And then the second half, they force you just by playing Abby. So it's like, why on Ellie's side am I switching between Abby and Ellie? And then at the very end, then I have to go at the very beginning of the game and then play as Abby.
Yeah, it's a weird paradigm shift for sure.
So it sucks because you're flipping back and forth, but it's like you're flipping back and forth, you go all the way to the end, and then you go right back to the beginning again, and then you go straight to the end. And then you have more after that where you play as Ellie. So it's like the way that they put that game together was just hot garbage. Like they could have had like Ellie, Abby, Ellie, Abby, Ellie, Abby. And
That would
then
have made
Ellie
more
would-
sense. Like,
Right.
from a storytelling point of view. It's
Right.
kind of
Have
Exactly.
it be like cross-cutting across, like through the whole game, so that way you're seeing the same event, like the same time frame for both characters as you go through the whole game.
Exactly.
I have like a caveat to that, sort of. So I compare this a lot to the first game because, like, so in the first game, as Joel, you're taking Ellie to the Fireflies because all you know is the Fireflies think that they can get a cure because they have like the scientists and the doctors and stuff. So they think that they can take whatever's going on with Ellie and formulate a cure. And so throughout the whole thing, we know the Fireflies aren't bad people. They're actually here to help. But when you get to the end of the game and the Fireflies are like, "Oh yeah, the cordyceps is in her brain. We have to remove her brain to be able to get it out, which is going to kill her." That's when, because you play as Joel and you have come to care about Joel and Ellie, and you've come to care about their relationship in the absence of Joel and Sarah, his daughter who died like 20 years prior.
And 20 seconds into the game.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Sad.
it
Super
still
sad.
devastated me. First 10 minutes of that game was more emotionally impactful than like a ton of games who try and force emotion on you.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd have rather played a game where you actually continued from that point on to actually watch the world fall apart rather than just being thrown forward into it.
Yeah, I think that could have been cool. I still like how the first game did it. I think it was really good. But so we know going to the only time that the Fireflies really become an enemy to us is in the end, and that's because it's a perceived enemy from Joel's perspective.
Right.
Now we don't like the Fireflies because and he kills what's her bucket? I think Marlena's her name or something, but he kills this the Fireflies, and then he kills this girl because he's like, "No, you guys are not taking Ellie away from me." So in the second game, I don't need to follow Abby's story to know what her beef is. I understand, like, Joel in the canon version of this killed her father. I understand. I sympathize. She is still my perceived enemy, but I understand that, like, why she's doing it. It's not I didn't need a whole half of the game to be dedicated to her to understand why it was so, like, why what she was doing was so justified or in her head or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, another thing I personally take issue with is, and I don't care, I don't think that anybody who hates the game is automatically transphobic or homophobic. I am all about representation, like, let it flow, whatever. But, like, Abby, games to a degree use emotional manipulation of gameplay to force you to feel certain ways, which is why it was so effective when at the end, the Fireflies, we were like, they're the enemy now. Hate Fireflies. Get those guys out of here. So, and every game does it to try, like, they can do the storytelling, but there is going to be certain gameplay elements that also manipulate your emotions. And it's not in a malicious way. It's just how video games have an advantage over other sources of entertainment.
Right.
And so they manipulate it. So, like, when you're playing as Ellie, like, this is one of the biggest things that got me is you're shooting dogs. These dogs are out to hunt you. They're out to kill you. So you shoot to kill them. As Abby, you're petting the dogs. You're playing fetch with the dogs. You're, having a good time with the dogs. It's emotionally manipulating you to like Abby more than Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that was unfair of them to do that because they made us love this character, and then in the second game made us want to not love her because she becomes a different person. Yeah. And that didn't sit right with me. I'm going to tell you, I didn't finish the game. I got partway into Abby's story and realized, oh, I'm going to be playing as her for the rest of this. I'm done. I didn't need that. I didn't need that part of it. I didn't care about, like, I didn't need to play as the Fireflies in the first game to understand their plight and understand what was going on with them. I didn't need to play as Abby to understand her side of things, and I didn't want to see it. It felt like too much for me. And so when people were coming out on, like, I spent a lot of time on Twitter, and people were like, wow, I really ended up liking Abby more than Ellie. And I'm like, that would be fine if the game hadn't manipulated us into doing that. Like, right. That let me come to love the character on my own, not because Ellie has lost everything and is now like a scrap, like a different version of herself. Like, let me love the Ellie that we came to love, but then you can give us Abby and make her likable, but not at the expense of Ellie. Like, I don't know. I have so many feelings about the way this game could have gone that didn't involve, losing everything that the first game gave to us.
Yeah, it's like it took everything from the first game and it just threw it back at us and be like, haha, well, glad you liked it. Now fuck you. So it's like, I don't know. That's why I regret personally playing it, because it's like
it soiled the experience of the first game for you.
Right.
I feel like it narrowed I now just choose to have the first game. Like, yep. I don't like the second game, but the first game was still so good. I think the only thing I didn't like about the first game that was fixed in the second game was the unbreakable shivs. Because now you just have a shiv with you all the time, and I love that. But you know what? I'll craft 1,000,000 shivs in the first game if it means I don't have to play the second one again. In fact, I'm selling my copy.
I'm actually selling my copy of Last of Us Part 2. But
where can they buy that?
Thing, do you want it?
No, I just meant you could then plug your eBay link or something.
Oh no! I'm just gonna take it into a local recycle video game store and just be like,
I'm gonna sell it to one of our local game stores.
But the point is it's like, so why I regret playing it too is it's because it's just like it takes away from the first thing. Not only that, but it just also deserved like none of the attention it got. You know, So like it got Game of the Year. It should not have gotten Game of the Year.
It shouldn't have. I was so excited to see, like, I haven't played it yet, but Hades was nominated for Game of the Year, and that's like a little indie studio.
I personally...
It was so damn impressive.
Hades or Ghost of Tsushima. I still have not played it, but Hades. But Ghost of Tsushima, holy crap. But that should have gotten it. But the point is I don't think Last of Us Part 2 should have gotten it. Because one, you're promoting bad development practices. Because that game was, they were in actual development hell. None of them enjoyed working on it. It was awful. So they're being rewarded for that kind of behavior.
And so some people actually said, I think one guy got hospitalized for the anxiety attack that he had.
Yeah, and so you're getting a game that actually should not, like after hearing about that, and people were still like, "Yeah, it's a good game." It's just like, it's not a good game. It's not a good game. It's bad. It's objectively a bad game.
It's
And
very bad game.
I will actually go out to say that. Like the very end of it. Guess what? Abby doesn't kill Ellie. Ellie doesn't kill Abby.
Oh, and that was one of my big gripes too. Was literally like, we spent all this time. Like, if we're gonna go in and like, gosh, I was so mad at Joel's brother. I don't remember his name. Tommy.
Tom, yeah.
Tommy. I was so mad at Tommy for going to Ellie and being like, "Yeah, this is what Joel would have wanted you to do. So go do it." Like, sorry that you're having marital problems for what happened. Like, him and his wife were on the rocks. Sorry about it, but Ellie has PTSD. She is traumatized. She's been through some shit. Like, whether or not you like the game, she has been through some. Hey, I'm really gonna need you to stop talking to me. Sorry. Cyberpunk started talking to me and I was like, I can't pay attention. But like, he comes to her and like, she's got her girlfriend, they've got the baby, which I was also really pissed that they killed Jesse. Like, why couldn't we just, like, that just felt pointless to me. That felt like a pointless death to me.
Because it's quick.
Yeah, it was quick and pointless, and also like, why did he have to die? Like, and also the plot armor that Ellie and Dina wear is so insane. But like, the fact that Tommy showed up at the end and was like, "Joel, I need you to do this because Joel and blah blah blah." Like, sorry you're having marital problems. She's trying to work through some shit. Stop guilting her. But then the fact that she did it, and Dina was like, "If you leave, I'm not staying. Like, we won't be here when you get back." And then they weren't. Ellie has lost everything. She's lost her home. She's lost Joel. She lost Tess in the first game. Like, she lost her girlfriend. She lost the baby. She's lost her best friend, her father figure. Like, now she can't go back to the homestead. She lost 2 of her fingers, so she can't even play the guitar. Like,
she literally lost everything, and she still didn't kill Abby.
And she still didn't kill Abby.
She didn't get her revenge. She didn't get her revenge. It literally said that's the other thing. This game's set up is such a like intense revenge story, and she never once got it. You got blue-balled. You got blue-balled at the end.
Yeah,
it set you up for everything, and then all of a sudden it's just like, nope, you're not getting it. Sorry.
Yeah. It felt like such a letdown. I was so just devastated by just like how much, and like I don't know, for the first half of the game while I was playing as Ellie, like I really did look past a lot of the plot armor parts. Like, there were times when when both of them were held at gunpoint, and then somebody would run in who's not on their side and would be like, "Don't shoot them," and it's like, why? Like,
why do you care?
Why are you not shooting them? These 2 people, like, Ellie is literally a one-man army. She went off on her own and killed half your people. She's held at gunpoint. Put a bullet through her brain at least. And I like Ellie. Like, but I went through a lot of like the first half of the game being like, okay, that doesn't make any sense, but I like, whatever. Like, this is still fun. But I feel like at the part where it splits and it leaves off on a cliffhanger and you go back and play Abby, and there's like that point where you play the memory of Abby seeing her father get killed.
Oh yeah, this game has very bad Naruto.
But I feel like
flashbacks everywhere.
I feel like that should have been enough, though. Like, I didn't need to play as Abby, because as soon as they showed me that, I was like, I didn't think this game, even if it had gone ideally, like, with what we were given, I still don't think it would have been, like, any of my top games. But, like, if we'd gotten up to this point, and then we got that memory of Abby in the forest with her father, and blah, 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 we see he's a really nice guy, and Abby's, they're really close, and then he gets killed by Joel. That was so impactful, and that would have been an impactful moment to come back to the present with, not backtrack 4 days and go replay everything as Abby. Like, I think we should have just done that memory, been like, oh shit. Like, I generally figured that this is what had happened, but like, oh shit, like, that was impactful. And then we get back to the firefight, like, I feel like that would have been a much better approach to it.
I actually would have enjoyed a story where, like, they found a common enemy and then they had to join forces. Like I don't know.
Against that weird cult.
I would have enjoyed that way more, but like this game got overly dark too. I mean, it got to the point where like Ellie legit killed a pregnant woman, and
oh yeah, she said that was an accident, but it was still pretty messed up that that was what the creators did.
Yeah, this game got overly dark. It got overly gory. It had way too complex storytelling. It bit off more than it can chew, and at the expense of developers and mindsets and just overall unnecessary publicity. And I don't like that. Like, it's just exhausting to look back on. Like,
yeah, I'm never going to go back and play it. I have no desire to, but it did make me want to replay the first one because the first one just felt like I cried so many times during that game. Like, I'm a crier, but there's just the emotional beats to the first story are so well done and so good. And granted, the first game is one of the few games that I have ever rage quit at. There are some levels in there where I am like, I have to walk away or I'm going to snap my controller in half because there's just some places where it feels impossible. And I'm like, oh boy.
The first game that ever made me rage quit was Conker's Bad Fur Day, but that's a different topic.
that's a topic for another day.
That is.
But yeah, so I love the first Last of Us, and I would sooner play that with its infuriating levels than go back to 2. And I feel like I'm done shitting on 2 now.
Yeah, I am too. So if anybody listens to this and they're like, oh, well, I was thinking about listening to or playing Last of Us Part 2, I hope you still are. You should play it.
Yeah, people who like it can, nothing against the people who like it. I personally feel like it was very poorly handled. I feel like it wasn't done well, and I never want to play it again. And I don't have any of the issues that other people... Like, as soon as you say, oh, this isn't my game of the year, or I didn't like it, people are immediately just like, oh, homophobe. And I'm like, I don't care that Ellie's gay. Like, I'm halfway there myself. Cool. Like, who cares? Yeah. I don't care that this person was... And people also get really mad that the one trans character was dead named, but it's like the one trans character came out of a highly religious cult who of course would not accept a trans character and of course would dead name them. But none of the other... Abby didn't dead name. Ellie didn't. Like, none of the other characters did. It was literally the religious cult. The game is not transphobic. That's not the problem.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway.
Poorly done.
Poorly done. Also, I don't know if you want to go first, Brandon, but I did think of another example.
Ooh. Well.
Considering the rage she just put up for Last of Us 2, I'm curious to see where we went with this.
Leo, you should know. But Brandon, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I think we'll just keep going down the line, because I thought I had one, and then I realized, no, there's one I regret playing far, 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 far more.
No, there is another. It is worse.
Yes.
It is a game far, far, far away.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worse, Leo, but it is still pretty bad. But Leo probably knows what it is.
So, you can watch me suffer through this entire game.
Oh, I want to see.
Lifeline?
Lifeline? I've never even heard of this game.
It is 90% controlled by a microphone on the PlayStation 2.
Oh, that sounds
awful.
Oh, it's just it's just PS2 version of fucking AU Pikachu.
Only worse. Because Pikachu will listen to you.
Oh no.
That's amazing.
So I played... So here's the thing. My other thought was, oh, I'm going to put Right to Hell Retribution on here because I played all the way through that game on my friend's channel with him. And I'm gonna...
Even with the embarrassing sex scene?
Yeah. This is like the full playthrough on his channel. Every single section is embarrassing because they're all fully clothed.
It's so dumb. They're just like she is not cowboy, or she's not doing the cowgirl because both of their clothes are on. They're just grinding. They're just dry humping like teenagers.
Yep. But
there's horny teenagers at a school dance.
But me and him actually had a discussion after because he also played through Lifeline with me on the PS2. The first 3 videos, unfortunately, I had some microphone issues, but you can still hear us at least. But all the other ones, it's functioning right. It's 30 videos of that, and
God.
yeah, and 43 videos of Ride to Hell, and PTSD, my God. So yeah.
I'll be honest, it took me a while to find images of this thing because that's how buried it is.
Dude, this game, so the premise is you are in space and it... Oh my God. So, Liz, do you know anything about this? Because I feel like this is something you might know something on.
Lifeline?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I've never heard of it.
So, get ready for this, because, oh boy. So the girl is a waitress on the first ever space hotel.
That already sounds awful.
Uh-huh. And you are some random dude who got bit by something, and you don't remember a whole lot of stuff, but you remember stuff, and you're literally locked in the security room, so you can view all of the security cameras. And you have a radio that's connected to this girl, so you're instructing her on what she should attack, where she should go, trying to guide her through. It's like, premise, pretty good. Execution, very bad.
Poor as hell.
So there's a meme that started very early where it was someone trying to play this game, and the game recognized them speaking English better than them speaking clearly in English. Like, they would say lifeline, and the game would be like, bad, but then they'd say Rhine, and then it would say great for recognition. That's accurate.
Oh no.
Oh.
And so Woody and I had a discussion after we had finished playing this, and we unanimously agreed that we'd rather play through Ride to Hell again than this. And we played through both. We played through his first, and I pretty much looked at him and said, "I'm sorry." Because, we're like, oh, this will be fun. Jokes. And then the game kind of just stopped working after an hour.
Oh, man.
As in,
Wow.
the game's voice recognition. We have a working theory that the longer stretches of time you play, like, the firmware has recognition issues the longer it's running. Because it works fairly okay voice recognition when you first start playing it. During the start of our sessions. But it gradually felt like it was getting worse. And there are times where we're very clearly speaking, and it's like, I can't do that. It's like, yes, you can.
I can't do that. Can't do that, Dave.
It's like,
Can't do that, Dave.
There's nothing on the table. It's like, I didn't say table. What? It's
Wow.
So
That sounds like one of those games that just that bit off more than they can chew, and they just didn't know how to implement it.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, let's make a game about voice control. Ooh, this is working. Oh wait. Oh, it's really hard. Oh, well, we can still work with it. Well, it's not working later on in the game, but well, it's fine. They'll be fine. No one's ever people are gonna play the first half of this game and never finish it.
It's very true, because here's where things go off the rails. Come to find out that this space hotel has a secret facility that is housing the Philosopher's Stone, as well as the brain of this woman's father, who is the philosopher Hohenheim. If you're familiar
My
with
God.
Fullmetal Alchemist, it is Hohenheim of Light.
Are you kidding me? Is it really ripping off Full Metal Alchemist?
No,
It's ripping
Hohenheim.
off the real philosopher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is I actually tried to read this is like super tangential. I actually read the original Hohenheim's works, and it is very difficult. It is, because it's old as hell, but it is very difficult, but very interesting. But yeah, it is the real Hohenheim trying to, it's something von Hohenheim. I don't remember his full name. It's long, but he was actually doing studies with science and alchemical shit just to try and make a real philosopher's stone, and you can find his notes online.
Yeah,
They're very tough.
It's not. God dang it! Everything tries to go to Full Metal Alchemist, but when you try and Google it, but God damn it, Leo, I swear, that's PTSD when I see that. But yeah,
shoot.
Shoot.
So
Shoot.
Oh, it's Paracelsus Theophrastus von Hohenheim.
Yes.
Or Philippus Areolus Theophrastus Bombastus von Hohenheim.
Banana Phantom
Yeah, it's the Paracalcus or whatever his name is. End result is, she is the last living descendant of him. Her father was the previous one, but he is just a brain in a tube at the end, who can't see but can speak through a computer that's plugged into him. And you get plot dumped at the very end, and then the main dude who tried to do all this stuff gets transformed into a giant monster, and you have to use your voice to align thrusters to burn it.
Oh my god.
It sounds like the most boring game in the world.
It's tedious.
It is. So, fun fact, we actually had to... There's a part in the playthrough where I pulled out a Game Shark and said, fuck this noise, and gave us infinite health because this thing, because it's entirely voice-related, it was not registering that we were telling her to dodge. And it's a cutscene. It's a cutscene, for fuck's sake. And it was draining our life. And we kept saying the thing, we kept doing the thing. It was not doing it, and we would die. So I said, fuck it, I'm pulling out a Game Shark. Plugged in the Game Shark, put in the code, we got past it. Come to find out, the infinite health code is just for her character, not for the thrusters at the end game. So we still had to beat the game legit because the thrusters had health. So yeah, that was the world's greatest nightmare for us, and
That sounds terrible.
Would you like to watch it? The full playthrough is available on my YouTube channel.
I may go back and do it.
I think
I might watch it. I might pass on that. You'll know why. You just explained a whole section on why to pass on
so.
this.
I'm actually gonna link the. I gotta find it now. You can see the video I have there of that thumbnail. I'm gonna find the thumbnail and the video where I introduced the Game Shark because I had fun with it. There it is.
I like how you're linking them here. Just remember to put those links in the video when you're posting it.
Oh, they can see the full link right here. You can type it in, it'll take it right there. But yeah, Game Shark, never heard of it.
What's a Game Shark? That game just seems like just thinking about it and hearing about it just makes me angry. Like,
dude,
it's one of those things. It's like I have my wife knows this. It's like I have a problem with inanimate objects. Like when inanimate objects aren't doing the things that I want them to do, I get irrationally angry. So it's just like, can you please just work? I'm controlling you. I'm controlling you. Can you please work?
He says as he's staring at the salt shaker on the counter.
You will do as I say.
You will listen to me. You will pour salt. No, it's like something like that. Just seems like it would be like I am using my words. I am explaining. I am saying the thing that needs to be done for this game to work. Why isn't it working? And I'd be pissed. I'd be so bad.
Yeah. So if you click play in this little window, it starts off not with the actual
All right,
game.
Brandon, what are we doing?
It literally just starts off like I pulled up the Game Shark. Fuck this noise.
I think this game
solving our problem.
I had to
I'm with
manually
Mike,
put the codes in, by the way, because it wasn't preloaded on the disc. So I had to actually search out the codes online before I could actually do it.
But I'm with Mike. I think if they just changed the genre instead of an adventure game to do it like a point and click type thing, might work.
If they had taken this and made it 50-50 split for like some stuff is voice controlled, for the environment stuff, like you're being told what to look at in the environment, but then you used regular controls to control her in combat, the game would have been good. It would have been fun. But no, you have to tell it red eye, stomach, left arm, right arm, shoot, auto fire.
How do you move?
Heal.
Like, does it like automatically put you into like combat, or so I assume it's like a RPG, right?
It is a survival horror game with limited resource, and you have to tell her dodge left, dodge right, and it's her left or her right. Or,
oh my God.
This gets worse the longer you talk about it.
Yeah, it reminds me of that one indie game that was all voice command.
Oh yeah.
Was it called Lifeline?
I got him. No, I don't remember what the game was called, but there was an indie game. There was an indie game that was based literally on all just like voice command, and it worked way better than what this sounds like. They honestly feel like they should have just taken Hey You Pikachu and just made a game around that.
Well, yeah, it was supposed to not listen to you. This game is supposed to listen to you and didn't.
Yeah, Hey You Pikachu didn't listen. Wasn't supposed to, like, Hey You Pikachu actually picked up way more than it should have.
Yeah, and it was designed to be a thing where it gradually became more adaptive to you because the idea was, oh, it's becoming more friendly with you. This is not
It's
that.
learning.
Yeah, it was supposed to create the illusion of learning by, you know, the words are there, and then just the more you played, the more of its vocabulary it would learn or have access to.
Emotional manipulation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we circled back.
With cute, fuzzy creatures.
we circled back with Last of Us Part 2.
No joke.
Nice.
So yeah, I in this video, the last one I linked here, I spend about 12 minutes putting the codes in because I forgot the master code at some point. I'm like, shit, so I had to go back and put that in.
And I miss putting in codes like that.
Oh god, yeah. So yeah, if you want to relive that bit of nostalgia, it's also a region-free DVD player.
So wait, that game?
No, Game Shark version 4 for the PS2.
Right. For some reason, the only Game Shark I ever owned was like for the N64 and then like my GBA.
Well, yeah, but that's because that also made your N64 region free because it just gave you a pass through to plug shit in on the top.
I had the Game Genie for the Super Nintendo.
Ah, good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so that's
I missed that.
That's more or less my rant about how I regret playing this game. I apologize to my friend for making him play this pile of hot garbage. And
sorry, Woody.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
That just isn't good, and no one should play that.
But you should totally watch us play it in pure misery.
It's fun watching other people suffer.
Right.
For my entertainment.
It's a different story when you're watching somebody else suffer through an awful game. It always brings in a light of joy.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch any of the playthroughs between me and Woody together of the two horrible things that exist, God dang it doesn't want to do the thing I want it to do very well. Yeah.
Is it a GIF?
No, it's me doing this because this is way shorter and will be easier for people to type in manually if they watch the video.
Bitly.
That link right there, that is to the very first video of our LP of Ride to Hell, Road to Retribution, or whatever the hell it was called. So yeah, that's me and Woody's shenanigans up until all kinds of stuff happened, like, you know, COVID-19, which has I don't know where the files are for the audio offhand, but we were doing a no merchant or a no upgrade playthrough on Professional for Resident Evil 4. We got about halfway through it, and then COVID happened.
Oof.
So
God damn it, COVID.
Yeah, because no upgrades. That's a rough one. But
all right, I think
so I'm done ranting. I think now it's Liz's turn. Let's go to Zombie Hand for a game that she regrets playing.
Leo, do you want to intro it? Do you know which one it is?
No.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked, Leo. So I never finished it. I have no. Okay, I actually can't say I have no intention of finishing it because I think I'm gonna go through it again, so I can play the second one, The Evil Within.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I knew you were. Yeah, I don't like The Evil Within. I thought.
I've never played these.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
So I'll tell you this much right here. Don't play the first one, but do play the second one.
That's actually really weird. I've heard the opposite.
Well, they're lying to you.
No, so funny enough, Stuart was the one that told me that I should play the first one. Funny enough, I had an entire month on my stream where I played spooky games, and The Evil Within was going to be one of them, but I decided not to play it because I decided to play Alien Isolation instead.
That's fair.
Proud of you, not playing The Evil Within.
It wasn't because The Evil Within I heard was bad. I just didn't want to play that one.
So
yeah,
my argument on that is that the first one is very disjointed and doesn't have a clear direction and doesn't make you care about the main character. The main
also has bad gameplay.
Also is very, very stilted gameplay because they were using a Bethesda engine.
I'll go into more detail
Yeah.
when you're done
And
making your argument.
The sequel, however, Evil Within 2, they use the same engine. They use the same engine, but fuck me if I could tell, it is so radically different, and it works so good.
I've heard the story is still stupid, but it's way more fun and immersive and cohesive.
And you care about the characters, unlike in the original. So basically, they whoever they had it, the guy that they put in charge of the second one, totally turned the entire production of everything around.
Not Shinji Mikami.
Yeah, that's because he was not the director; he was just a producer on the second one.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, Shinji Mikami did some pretty good games.
Yes,
he's done some really amazing games. Didn't he do Shadow of the Damned?
Yes, he did.
Okay, see, he did Resident Evils up through 4. He did Shadows of the Damned. Like, he is good at making... I'm not saying Shadows of the Damned plays, or that the other Resident Evils play really perfectly, but, like, they're really good, and they make sense, and they're cohesive, and I remember being so hyped. Yes, I remember being super hyped for the Evil Within. So I worked at GameStop for 5 years, and I pre-ordered this game because we would have all these commercials playing about how they sat down and him and his team were like, we need to rethink horror. So let's wipe everything we know off the table and we're going to start from scratch. What makes something scary? And they would talk about all these ideas, and it was really interesting. I loved like hearing all this stuff because they really wanted to start from the ground and work their way up. But like, I got to chapter 4. I finished the boss fight at the end of chapter 4, and I was like, this game is not fun to play. So one of the things is, so you can, there's like traps, and there are some parts of it where I'm like, I think this is straight up ripped. This is a map ripped out of Resident Evil 4. There is a village that is the village from Resident Evil 4. But you can, like, there's traps around, and you can, if you can get close enough, you can actually dismantle the traps and get crafting items, and you can use crafting items to make yourself like crossbow bolts. Really interesting.
This is a picture, of the second game, which, I mean, looks billions of times better than the stuff out of this one.
Yeah. So you have to get close enough, like a certain distance, to these traps to actually dismantle them. But there was one time when, like, I was crouched down and I was like, okay, I'm hiding from enemies. I want to dismantle this trap, partly for the parts, but also partly so I can get past this without alerting that enemy. I don't try stealth very often, so I was very proud of myself. But I was like, okay, I'm not getting the button prompt. So I move like a half a step closer. Like, I barely tapped the button, and that little space was enough for me to go from open, like, for the button prompt to dismantle it into the trap. And it went off and I died. Oh, and I just remember being so frustrated because that happened multiple times where I'm like, I need to move half a step forward, but I don't know if I'm going to go into the tripwire or if it's just going to give me the button prompt to dismantle it. And I was so frustrated. And like, I didn't even get enough of a chance to get invested in the story. So I don't have any ideas about much of the story because the gameplay made me so mad. There's one point where I was in the boss fight in the village at the end of chapter 4, and you have to so there's a point where you're clearing out the village, and partway through they let this monster thing out. So I would go through and clear out the village as much as possible and then fight the monster thing. But I kept running out of ammo, and there's not enough going around. And I'm playing on normal. I'm not playing on hard or anything. I'm playing on normal. And so I'm pissed, and I'm rage quitting. And I can't remember if it was Ben or Alex. I think it was Ben, Leo's brother, came over and was like, oh, I think you have to do this. Maybe it was Alex. But he was like, but put it on easy. Okay. And this is the thing. Was it Ben? Okay. So this is the dumb thing, is playing on normal, I would pick up bullets and it would have 2 to 3 bullets in it on normal. You go to easy, you're getting 12 to 15 bullets.
Get the fuck out. That many?
Where's the moderation? Like, you would think 12 to 15, like maybe 10 to 15, but like on easy. And then 7 to 9-ish or whatever, 6 to 9-ish on normal, and then 2 to 3 on hard. Like, where's the moderation? So I put it on easy and suddenly was overflowing with ammo. And then I beat the boss, and I was so frustrated because I am not, like, I've been playing video games since I was tiny. And I play a lot of horror games. I play a lot of action games. Like, I should not have to play this on easy to get past this thing. And people, there's this one guy that I know who is just such a sucker for anything Shinji Mikami does. And anytime Shinji Mikami's attached to it, this guy's like, game of the year. And he was saying about Evil Within, and I was like, no, like, it's so frustrating. And then you have to like play it on easy, and he's like, yeah, you have to play it on easy first. And I'm like, that's not good game design then. You should not have to play on easy first. So I never finished it, but I remember in the very beginning, I was already taken out of the atmosphere, maybe 20 minutes in. And Leo will remember this because I lived here with him and Krista and Steve, our friend Steve, when I was playing this game. And in the beginning, like, it sets a pretty good atmosphere. It sets a good tone. You know, you're driving along and like, oh, the world is shattering, and oh, it's very Silent Hill. And Akira Yamaoka did the score, I believe, which was, I think he did. Maybe I'm thinking of Shadows of the Damned again. That's a really fun game. But like, it's some of the people who worked on Resident Evil and some of the people who worked on Silent Hill. So this should be like a really good game. But there's this point in the beginning when Sebastian is caught and he's hanging upside down in like a meat room or meat freezer or whatever. And you have to like you have to get him out of it and then sneak around to get past this guy. He's like a butcher, big creepy dude. And it's very frustrating because he just, like, the stealth is whatever. And so there's a point though, like, I just like something about running from this butcher guy made me feel frustrated rather than scared. And a frustrated gamer does not make for a scared gamer. And so I remember this is going to be a horrible thing, and I'm so sorry. But there's a point where you're running and the butcher catches you and he gets a chainsaw to the back of your calf. So Sebastian is running and he's limping because the back of his calf is basically hamburger meat at this point. Like, it is just sliced open. So he's like limping and running away, and then you like open this trap door and you slide down this chute.
Oh yeah.
And you land in what must be a swimming pool sized vat of blood. And it's like, it could have been horrifying. It could have been really scary, but I was already so taken out of the moment that as Sebastian, with his hacked in half right calf, falls into this pool of blood, I'm sitting there bored, and I'm like, you just fell into a pool of blood. You have at least AIDS now. I was so taken out of it that I was just like more concerned about the wound on his leg than the fact that I just got away from the butcher.
Yeah. I'm going to post a picture of Good Game. The sequel.
Good game. And it's interesting because I love the things where like he has to sit in like the torture chair or whatever to get his upgrades. Like, I think that's so neat.
With the brain juice.
I just think yeah, like there were parts of it that were really interesting. I did not get far enough into the story to even have an opinion about the story because I was so pissed by the gameplay. I just didn't like it. I like his waistcoat. I think he looks very handsome.
I feel like the problems that you were having with the first one kind of reminded me of the problems I had with Fallout New Vegas. That it was kind of like, as soon as I was playing it, like, I got stuck in a rock and I had to blow myself out with dynamite. I'm like, this is going to be my entire game. I'm just not going to play. Like,
well, and it can be so fun, like in the game Control, which I recommend so much. I also recommend, if you do ever play it, going into the settings and turning the difficulty down a little bit, because there's only one difficulty setting and it is very, very hard. I had a very difficult time with it, and I'm not a bad gamer.
This is Evil Within 1.
Oh no, she's talking about
game Control.
Oh,
it's a
Sorry, I
recommendation.
switched gears. It's a recommendation for the game Control. So there's
I
a point. So I played it on PS4 when it first came out, and then I bought it on PC because I love Remedy Studios. They did Alan Wake. I'm not going to get into it, or I'll go on forever. But I got it on PC, and there's a point where I was just running around, and I got stuck in a table. But instead of getting stuck, the table moved around with me, and it was funny, and it didn't break the gameplay.
Yeah, that's kind
It
of
was actually.
like that's kind of how I feel about that. So it's like it's almost kind of like Bethesda at that point was what really made the bad experience for the first Evil Within because Bethesda made that game, right? So
yep, they were.
I think it was Tango Gameworks that made it because it was Shinji Mikami's new studio, Tango Gameworks. I think Bethesda just published it.
And no, because Tango Gameworks is owned by Bethesda, and they used Bethesda's engine to make the game.
Right? Did they use so it wasn't so that was kind of thing, and then it was kind of then a putting their toe in the water into a certain situation they've never really been in. I'd assume.
Correct.
I try to give people benefit of the doubt. So it's kind of like I feel like since it was the first of its game of the game series, I feel like they almost kind of didn't know where they wanted to go with it just yet, and so that's why it got perfected in Evil Within 2.
Yes, well, and part of it is too when you think about it, you're giving a very janky American-developed game engine to Japanese developers.
Who work with very nice engines.
Who work with much nicer engines. And
I was just going to say, the Remedy engine is really nice.
CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077. It's an unfinished game. It's all bad.
Actually, I'm really enjoying it a lot.
That's a whole different topic. That's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, well, it's a dumpster fire because of
weird.
People.
I'm playing it on an OG PS4, and I've had almost no issues. Though, I know that I'm the minority on that. A lot of people have had.
Since it, as of now, at the time
pulled
of this
from
recording,
the PSN.
Yeah, it's pulled from the PSN.
Yeah,
that's bad. When your game is running and it looks like PS2, I think that is bad.
Okay.
It's just everyone's machine is running it different because I'm running it on a PS5, and I've had it crash on me twice, and but other than that, it looks fine. And
yeah, I don't have any issues with the graphics. I feel like it actually looks pretty good. It's not PS4 good. I still feel like it looks like a late game PS3 title or like an early PS4 title, but mine has crashed twice and I've had one glitch that made me have to reload.
I think it's because this wasn't optimized for the said consoles.
Oh, it super wasn't.
Oh, it was not. It was made for PC, and I will get it on PC one day. But yeah, I know that I'm in the minority here, but I've had so few issues with it, and I'm
just returned my copy today from PC.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah,
I want to like it. I really want to like it.
Maybe when it's in a year when it's patched to hell and plays a lot better and is optimized better, you can go back to it.
I had a conversation with my friend Stuart about this literally today about how and why a game like that got released. Because you look at Bethesda's games that made Fallout 76 and released a game that was bad and not finished. And then you look at No Man's Sky, they released a game, not done, not finished. Then you look at Cyberpunk that literally released a broken game. You guys can't deny, it was literally broken.
Well, yes, and I'm not trying to deny that it was broken. I'm just saying my experience hasn't been what everybody else has been experiencing. Right. But also, some of it has, I'm gonna say, and I know that we're going off topic here, the developers don't have to listen to the fans, but the fans were sending death threats to the company for them delaying the game.
Right,
and that was so there came a point where they finally just had to release it.
Yeah, and you get the people that were all like, "Ree, why is the game bad? Ree," and you're just like, "Well, you asked us, you released it." And I think that game needed at least another year.
Oh yeah, and I would have waited. I would have waited forever for it because I'm really excited for it. However, I'm just taking the patches as they come because I am still enjoying it. But I think
I'll probably buy it again when it's $20 and it has everything done with it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be rebuild it because I built my PC, but I want to build a new one. So I think when I build a new one, I'm gonna buy the game then on a Steam sale for cheap because I already put my money down for it on PS4. I'm gonna play the shit out of it, but I do want to play it again on PC and just see all the beautifulness of it.
But it just kind of
makes me think of it. I'm gonna put it out there.
Go ahead.
Some people waited for Duke Nukem forever.
Literally forever.
And look what they got.
So that's the thing that made me think about it, because you were mentioning Bethesda. Well, since this is Evil Within, and you had,
Bethesda, yeah.
Bethesda, right? And so it's like, it makes me just think of like, people are giving CD Projekt Red the benefit of the doubt when it's like, right, they had something like The Witcher, and then they made Cyberpunk.
Well, The Witcher came out when Witcher 3 first came out. It was a buggy piece of shit too.
Right, but
people just forget it because it's
right. It was a buggy piece of shit, but it wasn't a broken game. There were like, you literally got the game actually soft locked. If Cyberpunk actually soft locked, if you opened up the map in a car, and so it's like, you couldn't do anything. You actually legit could do. You had to actually close the game and reboot it, and it like would allow you to like highlight over stuff and still register the game. It just wouldn't do it. Like, and then it just had like rendering problems, lighting issues. There was apparently one quest where an invisible wall would just appear and couldn't let you progress, and it was a thing that you needed to go by. And so it's like, how do you let your game go like that?
So I've got the perfect meme to show you exactly why, and I'm posting it right now.
yeah, it's exactly it's the fans.
Yes,
it's the fans, and that was kind of the thing where it's like, I can understand like but CD Projekt Red, if they released it out of malicious intent, being like, well, fine, you said we want it, then here you go.
So I promise you it's not that. What it is it's the investors. It's the same reason why Toys R Us had to close their doors when they did. It's because the investors didn't have patience to make sure that things were getting done right. They were like, we want our money now. And so they're like, okay, I guess we have to bankrupt then. And that's what happened. And I don't want that to happen to CD Projekt Red, because when the game works, which for me it has, for the most part, aside from like the 2 crashes I've had no other issues yet.
Right.
It's really fun. It's a really engaging and really enjoyable game. People that are complaining about the driving need to shut the fuck up. They're supposed to drive like boats. They're giant chunks of metal with wheels. Fuck you. That's my rant about that. But yeah, Bethesda has the worst track record for this. Is they'll put a product out, it'll have problems, but people will still buy it and people will forgive it. And I don't understand.
And that's
hold on. Okay, sorry. I have to really put this out there, because this is something that literally we were just talking about with my friend. It's like the difference that I feel like, and I love Bethesda games, so I know I'm coming out with a little bit of a personal thing on that. Yes, a little bit of a biased opinion, but I also am looking at it as an objective, or not an objective view, as an outside view, because you look at games that Bethesda have released, like you look at Skyrim, not a broken game. You look at Fallout 3, not a broken game. You look at Fallout 4, not a broken game. You look at Dishonored, not a broken game, kind of glitchy in some way, but not a broken game. You look at Fallout 76, not a broken game, just not whole, and nothing in it. You look at other things that Bethesda have released, none of them have been broken. You have little glitches every now and again, but you have big games like that they look at big games like that and they expect it to be perfect. You're not going to get big games that are going to be perfect. Fucking Breath of the Wild isn't perfect. That game is just riddled with exploits, and that's technically not something how they wanted it to be. And you can literally launch a Guardian in the air just by putting ice underneath of it. Pretty sure that's not something that was intended. So big games like that aren't going to be perfect. So you look at games that Bethesda have released, and people are like, oh, well, Bethesda, why is this fern clipping through the wall? This should not be doing this. It's like, it's a fucking fern, bro. Are you really going to be really pissed off because of that?
Minor clipping issue.
Yeah, you're going to be pissed because a giant sends you in the air because it hits you? Come on.
That's realistic.
That's just funny. You're gonna see a mammoth flying in the air just because it has a weird collision issue. It doesn't. You just get free mammoth meat. Who the fuck cares? So it's like, it may be weird and not right. And like, the one thing that I would say that like bugged the hell out of me at most Bethesda games were certain quest bugs, which they were bad. There were some that were bad, but it wasn't anything that to the point where it's like, well, my game is broken. I can never play this again. So when you look at games that like Cyberpunk, I have never, ever seen a game that has released this unfinished. It's mind-boggling. So when people are like, well, CD Projekt Red, this is fine. This is fine. But Bethesda, fuck Bethesda. It's like, why? They haven't released a broken game.
So
They've never released a broken game. Not from my knowledge.
I've got a very good argument for this part. So in the defense of CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, over the likes of really any of the Bethesda games that I'm thinking about now, and all the ones you mentioned, yes, those are all big games.
Those are all just handfuls.
Yeah. But like, you look at those and they're big games, right? They all have large worlds. Absolutely none of them have the density level that's in Cyberpunk. And that's why it's overtaxing on the engine for the hardware they have it on. And yeah, it wasn't optimized for this console, and that's the issue. Is people are like, all of the flack is going towards the console versions. I haven't heard anyone really complaining about the PC builds. So
the PCs have had issues, but because I was watching, I don't know if any of you guys know the used to be professional Overwatch player A_Seagull, but I watch his streams occasionally, and he started playing Cyberpunk, and he was like, he's playing on like a 2090. I think he ended up having like he actually has a 3090. He ended up putting it, but he has like fucking insanely good PC build. It was crashing on him. He had it crashed 4 times on him on PC. And the things that they allowed on certain like settings couldn't do it. Also, the DMCA section for streamers and YouTubers, they literally said, "Oh yeah, don't worry, we have a streamer mode for all streamers." Cool, 2 songs made it through the bugginess. Instant DMCA takedown for streamers and YouTubers if they didn't know that. So there was it was a ton of streamers that ended up, and YouTubers who ended up getting DMCA strikes because CD Projekt Red said, "Oops, sorry, your streamer mode that we implemented into this game actually slipped through 2 songs. So oops." Now you're DMCA. Now your account, you all of the hard work you've put on your Twitch stream or YouTube account, gone. See ya. Twitch and YouTube have then banned you, and now you're getting sued for it.
I can see where that one would definitely become an issue for sure.
So it's like, I'm like, really? How?
Well, and realistically too, that's an oversight in terms of the legal department though too. So
right, but it also was
on all sides, not just CD Projekt Red, but like the record label. Specifically.
The final production. Mm-hmm. Well, so that's the thing, is the record label ends up having the point where they're like, okay, yeah, you can use their music, but then they're done after that. You know what I mean? They'll have the legal obligations for it afterwards to see who uses it and whatnot. But then you'll have what I guess you could say the distribution side of things, because they're the ones that control certain functionalities in the game that ends up being like you have it's almost the same department of people who end up using the control, like how audio is used at the very end of the game, like, you know, audio sliders and stuff like that, or visual representations, like the distribution stuff that control like certain copyrighted music. They have to go over that and be like, okay, well, if they're going to have this, we have to go over a list of songs that are copyrighted. And how do you get over that? How like there's only a selection. There's like only like a select few of songs that can get through. So it's their engine and whatever system that they were using on that managed to just slip through 2 songs.
Yeah, that's an odd one.
So it's a really weird, like 50-50 crapshoot. They fixed it already.
Right.
But it's still like in the first week that it was out, they're like, well, you have to play this game muted. You just have to turn the music all the way off. That was their solution. And then like 3 days afterwards, they fixed it. So it's like, there's so many bad things that like I just look at it and be like, well, for one, I was gonna play it, and I was like, well, I want to stream this, and then I just kept seeing everything. It was like a snowball effect, and I'm just like, this game's clearly not finished. I'm gonna wait a year, or more.
Yeah.
Like I can understand where you're coming from on that for sure, because I mean, especially from you looking at it as a streamer, like in that particular aspect, I
dodged a bullet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to be very careful with what you choose to let through. And if the game is claiming that this is totally safe for streamers, and then it backfires in every single streamer and YouTuber's face, that's really unfair to them because they had zero control over that. They were going off of precisely what the developer claimed. So,
and they didn't put out that tweet until like 2 or 3 days after
the claims already were coming.
Yeah. So it's like, really. Like it's like I had that game ready I had it downloaded and I was like, cool, I'm gonna play this day one. And then I watched and waited and I was like, really glad, and I dodged a bullet. Like I think it's like I play D&D and I play Shadowrun, and I've never really had a cyberpunk like game before. And if no one's familiar with Shadowrun, it's literally D&D but in a cyberpunk setting. And
it's amazing. The concept alone is amazing.
That's really cool, but I unfortunately have no like personal experience with a cyberpunk-like setting. So I was really excited to put myself into a game like this so I could finally immerse myself into our Shadowrun plays. Like we haven't personally played Shadowrun for like a few months now. We've just been really hard set into our D&D campaign, but it's like it sucks because it's like I was really looking forward to this. So I feel like this cyberpunk, by the way, this discussion that we're in, because I feel like it's also in a setting of games you regret playing. Like I actually am I was gonna mention this for me because I haven't played it, but I would have regretted playing it if I did play it.
So it's kind of like a regretted purchase for you at this point.
Because I purchased it and then I returned it. And so it's like I'm actually really glad that I didn't play it, but I do want to play it. So it's a really weird tangent, but it's a weird connection.
So, and
I'm just gonna finish. I'm just gonna bow out by finishing my segment of it by saying, so first of all, you mentioned the one streamer having issues on PC.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how many, because I haven't heard very many PC issues, so I don't feel like it's fair. I'm not saying that because my experience is positive on PS4, therefore all positive experience or all PS4 users have a positive experience. I don't think it's fair to say that all PC users are having a negative experience because this one streamer did. And also I'm going to duck out now and say I am going to continue to enjoy it because I haven't had any issues.
Right. And that's the thing, is that everybody can have and I think that's a great way to put it. It's like I was thinking about just saying, you know what, maybe my issues won't be the same as his, or maybe it won't be the same as everyone else's. Like I was also hoping that as well. But I'm a person that just kind of like looks at it and be like, okay, well, if everybody else, like if the majority of people are having problems and I'm going to be like the 2 or 3% of people that are actually not experiencing any problems, or the 5 or 10 or whatever percentage of people that are not having problems, then I'll be just like, probably not going to. I'd like to form my own opinion. It's like my argument with Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, but that's a whole different argument. So it's like I try to go and form my own opinion on something. I'm still going to get this game when all problems are resolved.
That's another thing, is I think that maybe it was a better idea to not play it now, because like it could sour the experience and you would never come back to it.
Right.
But if you do come back in, say, a year and you dive into it and it's fixed and it's playable and it's amazing, then you could get into it and have a really incredible experience with it, and it could completely flip that perspective.
Especially with the hype that you have for it, having so much interest in this and having it come out with just a deluge of negativity. That right there is souring your intent to play right now, and that's upsetting to me because like Liz is saying, she's having a great time, she's getting the minority experience, but it's a good experience.
It's one of those, it's like one of those unlucky circumstances for it's like almost kind of reminds me of like the purchasing of a PS5. You get people that like you and I who have a PS5, and then the others that are like, well, I didn't get my PS5. Yeah, like I didn't get my PS5. How come I didn't get my PS5? Well,
oh god, or the people that are giving people death threats for posting like one for sale. It's like, shut up.
Yeah, it's like
you're not any better. In fact, you're
Yeah.
worse because you're
Feelings
threatening
about-
life over it.
you're
Get out.
Yeah, you're threatening a life over it. But it's like you get people that are like, well, I didn't get my PS5, and you're gonna get people.
I have
that are gonna be
feelings about scalpers, but I'm not gonna wish them death threats.
Like, I don't think scalping is a thing that should happen.
Oh, I
ever.
agree.
Oh yeah,
The fact that
scalpers can
have,
go fuck themselves.
The fact that scalpers have more
Cheers.
inventory than actually Sony themselves is mind-boggling. But
Oh yeah,
anyway,
get fucked on that one.
yeah. So it's like you get people that are like, well, I didn't get my PS5, and then you get people who are like, well, I didn't get my good copy of Cyberpunk. What the hell? You know, it's like, so you get people that are like
and that's...
enjoying it, like you guys that are enjoying the hell out of it, and it's like, I'm kind of looking at it like, well, what if I get the bad copy, or what if I get the good copy? And that's what scares me. And so it's like that. You're gonna look at it because you're gonna see, because it was trending on Twitter. It's still trending on Twitter.
Is it
and
really?
So it's like,
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
shit.
trending it was still trending on Twitter up until today. And so, like, I'm pretty sure as of right now, I don't think it is, but it was trending on Twitter for a while, and it was like, wow. Like, this game has been trending for over a week now, and it's fuck, dude. Like, how is Cyberpunk going to recover from that? Or sorry, CD Projekt Red going to recover from this? You know,
To be honest,
devastating. This is devastating to them.
If you see that again, like, I spend a lot of time on Twitter. Their PR team, because I follow them on Twitter, their PR team is doing a pretty good job.
They're doing a really good job. I will give them that. But
I think that
there's probably going to be some higher ups getting fired for this. I can.
Oh yeah, but look at No Man's Sky. That one released and was absolutely not what was promised. It got insane backlash. It was
right. But the only problem with that, though, sorry to interject. The only problem with that, though, is it's literally one dude.
Right, but I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
that one did come out, and it was not what was promised. It was delayed. It came out, and it didn't live up to the hype that everybody wanted. But now it's an incredible game because people were, and I get it. It's one guy. It's a different situation. It's one guy versus a giant, studio.
Yeah.
But like, I still feel like people can bounce back from these things. Like, look at. I mean, like, outside of like Duke Nukem Forever, which is now just a joke,
Yeah.
Well, I think CD Projekt Red and I think Cyberpunk are going to be fine. I think it just needs to, like, it's off the PlayStation Network now. They're going to go.
Never seen a game do that, by the way.
They've never tried.
Not the PS1, not the PSN that I've seen, but it has happened because the PC version of Arkham Knight just straight got canceled.
Oh, yep, I remember that. Yeah, I remember
that.
That
got pulled. So, I mean, it's a thing that can happen, but it is very uncommon for something like that to happen when it's not like license expired, we gotta pull it. This is we need to pull it because people are not happy that we gave them what they wanted, which is unfortunate. But it's like, look, we get it, there's a problem. We're going to try and fix it. And I think CD Projekt Red will ultimately be fine from this, but I think this is just a clear lesson that is very true to form with Miyamoto's saying, which is a bad game, a game released bad will be forever bad. But people...
game delayed will eventually be good.
Exactly. And that's the thing that, people just don't understand. It's like, we live in a very interesting time now, I think.
It's very instant gratification.
Yeah.
Like, I would wait for if they said that they needed until I was super jazzed because it came out the day before my birthday. But if they said they needed a whole nother year on it, I'd have been disappointed, but been like, you do what you need to do. And that was when it was going to be out in April, and they were like, we have to push it back to September. I was like, done, I'll wait. And then they were like, oh, we have to push it back to November. I was like, I'll wait. And then they said December. I was like, still gonna wait. Like, I would wait for this game because I was so excited for it. So, like, I feel like this is going to be a thing on the fans, and it's going to be a thing on the company where fans need to learn to settle down, and they need to stop feeling like they can make death threats or they can, just demand things and then get pissy when what they demanded isn't done. But then the company also needs to say, we're putting our foot down. Our game isn't done. We want to give you the best experience possible, and we're not going to let you push us into something that's unfinished. Yeah. And I think that would be fair for everyone to learn
100%.
in the long run.
Yeah. Also, as a side point, which I found hilariously ironic, the instant gratification is a thing in the cyberpunk book. Like, it's actually one of the core values of
I bought this.
of the problems of the cyberpunk RPG.
I bought the TTRPG because I want to play it.
It's like, and now it's in the game Cyberpunk. That's one of the things of the cyberpunk universe.
This was a meta ploy by the PR people. Oh my god.
It could be genius or it could be just horrible. But yeah, like in the RPG book that's based off of, like, it's, I think, like one of the first things is that they talk about is your future is disposable. Instant gratification and get rid of it. In fact, when I found out you had an apartment, I'm like, wow, you can barely get an apartment when you're playing the RP game.
That's funny.
Jeez.
I'm like, that's hilarious.
It's like it was a point I was going to make.
Leo, you ruined it.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I can agree. Like, it is a broken game, and my experience does, like, me and Brandon having positive experiences doesn't negate the negative things.
Oh yeah.
I just personally feel like it's gonna be fine. I think that and, like, especially from what I have seen with the engagement on Twitter, there are some people that are outraged, but there is still so much support for CD Projekt Red and for the game. Like, CD Projekt Red posted a thing. So Sony posted that it was coming off the PlayStation Network, and then CD Projekt Red retweeted it, and they were like, "Oh, now we just wait for the countdown to when does Cyberpunk get put back on the PlayStation Network," and they put, like, an embarrassed blushing face, and, like, it was just in good humor, and it was kind of funny, and
that's good.
That's a good way to handle it. So the way that I think that I see CD Projekt Red handling Cyberpunk is the same way that Bethesda handled Fallout 76, the guy who handled No Man's Sky, the fucking Rare handling Sea of Thieves. It's all of those games that came out and people were like, why did you release this? And then it's going to be better later on. Fallout 76 has an incredible community. I've never played it, but a lot of people love that game now.
Yeah.
A lot of people love No Man's Sky because now it's eventually an amazing game. But Sea of Thieves, Rare's most successful IP.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow, that's actually really cool.
I'm pretty sure Sea of Thieves is Rare's most successful IP right now. And so it's like, that's insane. That's insane.
I think there is a really good possibility for a bounce back, and I feel like even, like, it's insane because this is something that I try to really work on because I do want to see all sides to a story, but, like, I love Cyberpunk, so I don't always love seeing the discourse for it. So, like, if I'm on Twitter, I'll scroll past some of it, or I'll read some of it and then just leave because I'm like, I don't really want to, like, I'm having a good time.
A lot of it.
Yeah, so, like, I'll scroll past it. I don't engage with a lot of it, but, like, I do read some of the things that people are having issues with. And then when I feel like it's getting to be, too much for me, I just move on, and I'm just like, well, I know I'm enjoying it, and I understand that you're not enjoying it, and there's all these issues. But it's crazy because the last, like, 3 things from the CD Projekt Red's Twitter that I have clicked on and read the comments for have just been so supportive. And I was astounded because I have seen horrible things on, like I follow the Final Fantasy VII Remake Twitter. There's some shit. People get pissed about it. People are mad. And I see this on a lot of things where people just say the nastiest shit. And so I went into some of these Twitter threads because I want to see what's going on. I want to see the discourse. I want other people's opinions and viewpoints. Like, even if it doesn't match mine, I value it because then I can learn, or I can form my own arguments against it, like, depending on how I feel.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm always looking to learn and grow, but astoundingly supportive in the community. Like, and so that is another thing is, like, yes, there are a lot of people that are pissed and there are a lot of people that are angry, rightfully so. I do think that everybody has a point to be pissed, but the fact that there is still so much support for the company and they're taking it in such good stride, like, they're really doing a good job at being like, they're not like, oh, well, you guys did this, or if we had more time, blah, blah. They're just like, oh, countdown to when it goes back on the PlayStation Network. Like, I think that they're doing a really good job with it. So I do see, personally, a really good bounce back, and maybe that's in a year when it's patched to like they've already put out like 4 patches in the last week just to fix stuff, and like they're working on it, and maybe like when I get it on PC the graphics will be even better. Like maybe they'll just up the graphical integrity to the point where I'm gonna look at it and be like, I cannot believe this is the same game I played a year ago, because I'm probably gonna play it 100 times.
I'm hoping that it falls under the same umbrella of Fallout 76 and No Man's Sky and Sea of Thieves, and not fall under the Anthem umbrella.
Oh God, no one wants to fall under the Anthem thing.
Let's just hope that it's not that. And like, it can get there. They just have to do it right and play their cards right. And then not only that, but they also have to win back all those people that they lost.
Yeah,
and
I think that's going to be an uphill struggle.
That may not even happen.
That's going to be an uphill battle. But the only way they can do that is by really delivering. And I don't personally know how they're going to do that, but I mean, when you got a game like Sea of Thieves and No Man's Sky and Fallout 76, those are all online games where you have other people to play with and you have other things in there, so you're going to get like free shit and cool shit, and like Rare put in literally a Banjo-Kazooie boat and literally just themed the hell out of that, and people went fucking nuts.
There was one game where I want to say it was one of the Assassin's Creeds where they messed up so bad that they gave all the DLC away for free.
That was Unity.
Yep. Yeah. I remember. I was gonna say
that was a launch title for the new generation.
Yes, I got it. My brand new built PC that was above the settings at the time couldn't run it. Like I was running single digit frame rate on Unity. I never went back to it because that was one of those ones that I couldn't play it. I didn't know anything about it. I got like 12 seconds into it and was like, I literally can't do anything because I don't know what's going on. 2 frames a second. Doesn't work.
I actually have a fun thing to go on side with that. You mentioned how those are multiplayer games that Cyberpunk will have a multiplayer mode coming down the pipeline.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
But
if they're having problems right now, that needs to be on like the last thing.
They've been very open about how this is not a thing you're getting right away. This is something that we are currently experimenting in, but we want to have out there, and I think that's part of why you get the customization levels you do for your character, is because
which could even be better.
Yeah, which was because this being an intention. They intended to include a multiplayer mode of sorts, because I'm not going to lie, being able to explore Night City with a friend and do like co-op missions, focus on hacking things and distracting, and I'll start taking these guys out. This could be a really, really, really fun experience.
If it's Borderlands, if it's a Borderlands style multiplayer, I'm in. But if it's a Call of Duty style multiplayer, I'm out.
Oh, I've heard it's Borderlands style.
I've heard it. I would think it'd be kind of like GTA Online style, not like, because it almost kind of like, that's kind of what Cyberpunk kind of feels like to me.
Yeah, okay, I could see that too.
It feels GTA like, and so it's like that's why I'm kind of like, this is really honestly probably just going to be GTA Online. Like when you mentioned online for it, I'm like, oh, GTA Online. But that's almost exactly what I feel like.
So the thing is, though, the way it plays is more closely related to Borderlands in terms of it being an RPG in effect, if not more so. So it's fair to assume it's gonna lean a little bit more Borderlands style, but probably have unique online missions available as well.
I just want to hop in a car with somebody, and one of us drives, and the other one leans out the windows and shoots drones or whatever. Like,
it'll happen.
That's what I would like. That's the only way. I don't like playing online multiplayer games, but I have played Borderlands with people, and that's how I would play Cyberpunk multiplayer. But yeah, right now I'm just looking forward to the multitude of patches that's going to make the game look incredible and play better, and just like again, like I'm having a really good time with it. But there are times when I'm like, Johnny Silverhand's beard looks janky.
The one thing that killed me the most, the one thing that as I was watching it, the one thing that I thought was like the funniest thing, and fucking arms, man. There's so many people like they're like the arms just started at the neck. You know what I mean? Like up by the chin. So it looked like their arms were like freaking out. Like I really wish you guys could see me, but it was like you could literally see their hands like as if your hands themselves were going over your eyebrows when you ran instead of like at your sides.
Oh
really
yeah,
funny.
when they forced the game out of first person and into third to show you that.
Well, no, it was like actually just like regular running, and you could see it in shadows too.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Weird.
Let me see if I can find a GIF of it. But it was really funny because like I saw it when I saw the streamer playing it, and I saw it in like other people's videos. And it was just so funny. Like it's really weird because it had like really bad like janky arm animation. Like it like legit showed like it just showed like your hands like almost appearing above your eyebrows. It was really funny.
Huh. That's hilarious. Do we want to start wrapping it up with some final thoughts on this one? Or what?
I think now's a good time. Yeah, I mean, this kind of like did sort of fall into the games we regret. Only in this case, purchasing right away versus waiting for the kinks to be worked out. But
Evil Within. I'm just saying, Evil Within still holds almost all of my rage. Evil Within and The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I gotta stick with Spore. I'm gonna go down with that boat from my dying date on that one.
I'm angry at the Evil Within.
Yeah.
And I'm angry at Shinji Mikami.
I can't find the GIF.
That's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, Last of Us Part 2, yeah. So
Yeah.
that just makes me angry.
I regret opening my my PS2 microphone because it was brand new.
Oh.
So I opened it to play Lifeline, and so it was brand spanking new. So it's like, it's not the mic, it's the game.
Hey, while we're here, I was thinking, just really quick before we wrap up, you were talking about this game, Lifeline, and it reminded me, sort of, of a game that I played called Republic. I never finished it.
I have that. It has David Hayter in it, and I love that.
It also has Jennifer Hale.
Well, yeah, but she's in everything. David Hayter's not.
Yes, but like, the fact this is an indie game. This is like a teeny indie game, and it's the fact that they got such good cast,
great talent.
But it's like I thought it was very impressive. It's the opposite of what Lifeline was. But it's like a stealth game. So you're playing as like somebody who's like breaking into you're breaking out of a building because you don't know what's going on in the world, but you have been told that it ain't good. Oh, Matt Mercer's in it. But something's going on. It's been a hot second since I played the first like chapter, and stealth is not my thing, so it stressed me out really hard. But it was really well done. But you can actually hack into the security points rather than like straight up controlling the character. When you hack into security cameras, you can actually say like, move to this point, move to this point, move to this point. And it's very strategic and works around like where the security guards are and stuff.
Right,
and I just wanted to like mention that one because it's not exactly like, controlling with the voice commands, but I thought it was similar.
It's a better implementation of the same idea.
Yeah, and it's really fun, but you have to be good at stealth. I was so stressed out the whole time I played it, but I want to go do it more because it was really fun, and it's a cyberpunk setting.
That's very true.
I love sci-fi and I love cyberpunk, so that's why I'm also like super on board with all this.
All right.
Fair enough.
Like sci-fi is my
That's
jam.
fair.
Anyway.
Well, I think that's gonna wrap us up this time around for On the Screen. I want to thank Pixelweezy for joining us this time around.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, again, it's all about sharing our thoughts on a medium, which is apparently a screen, that we all love for different reasons, and sharing our experiences. I mean, that's what this is about. Gaming is all about a community as far as I'm concerned. And the pandemic sucks ass because I can't spend any of the time with that community.
Ask me about Alan Wake.
Ask me about
Next time.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh man. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just put those on the wheel. We'll just like
Ask us about Resident Evil.
Oh my god, right? You know what? I need to just do a spoiler cast listing and say like I'm gonna put that on the wheel randomly sometime.
The number of times we've devolved into Resident Evil talk for no reason is impressive, I feel.
Only very.
Yeah, only a lot.
Actually, really funny today because I'm on my stream. They're like, they should put you on digital gaming for Banjo. I'm like, that would be sick.
That would be awesome.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. See you around next month when we get around to doing this again.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.